that comes. Don't know if the guy was saying something to you. Take one of my flyers. Check it out.
Thank you.
Check it out. The mind is like a parachute. It works best when open.
He's just trying to practice moonwalking. It's not really the floor.
There you have it. Modern moonwalking. Hello, ladies. Earth is still flat. You look fantastic, by the way. All of you. Yeah.
See what you say.
You know, I mean, like, as I say to people, if you are God, right, you intended for there to be beautiful fruit to eat and things to look at.
No shit!
You know? And so the more you
Thank you, God.
sit in there, you go like, I'm meant to enjoy what's beautiful, and you know, and
that's the whole
nature-
point of being beautiful, is to exhibit beautifulness, so others to enjoy beautifulness as well, isn't it?
Yeah, if you were a strawberry bush, you would want to produce beautiful strawberries such that the bees were attracted and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
well, that's what every woman and man should really be. It's like, I want to, you know, yield great fruit so that the animals, the bees and whatnot are attracted to my fruit, and so on.
You see beauty in the most unexpected.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes it shines through.
Earth is flat, not a globe.
Chink of sunlight into the bush, into the trees, and then you've got like a pretty flower. Just from our real light staring through.
That's a good one.
That's good, yeah. And that's the beautiful thing, is that even though sometimes things can be kept in the dark for a long time, you can still get, with just a little bit of light, you can get the flower, you can get the light going.
That's what I mean.
It's hard to extinguish nature's intention, eh? You see how hard a tree will try and grow back again if you cut it down, and you know, animals will try and keep going even though they've been cut down.
The tree will keep going, even if it's cut down one way.
It falls down, it's got one root left, and it'll start putting up new trees. The branches
to be dead.
Yeah.
You thought that game. It's pretending to be dead. Yeah, trees pretend to be dead in winter, don't they? There's nothing going on.
Frozen.
They're just lying dormant until the sun comes back round again. True. It goes back in again.
Yeah, and everything needs its season, you know. So I wonder if humanity is going through a season of cleansing or something. You know,
I
winter.
think it's going to definitely go through something, David. There's no doubt about that. The bad seem to be becoming like badder, and the good people seem to be becoming gooder.
Well, it's all dark and light, isn't it? The more dark, the more light.
But it seems to be going in extremes.
Yeah. Earth is flat, not a globe.
It's definitely a back-side society. Everyone's sold straight into all of this bullshit. They just love it. You know, everyone's on their mobile phones. It's all about like
Agents, isn't it?
superficial bullshit. Especially the young people. They lap it up, don't they? All that glammy
Oh,
bullshit.
they defend it furiously.
Oh, they defend it furiously. I would die for my nails.
Proper Nazi about it.
Yeah. I would die for my nails.
I
Leave my nails alone.
met a young lady yesterday who says she's binary. She was a binary. I interviewed her for about 10 minutes, actually. So it was an interesting conversation. But it's the first person I've met who's...
I don't know.
I don't know anything about them either. Do you?
I think they like to be known as them or it or something. I'm not sure exactly, but pronouns they call it. You know, you can't say I'm a her or a he. And she prefers to be it or not, neither, or non-binary.
Is this something like cisgender?
It's like, no, but you know...
No, it's not that one.
What is it then?
It's another one. It's difficult these days.
It is difficult.
There's so much stuff going on.
I said to her, wouldn't you know, in nature, the elephant, the mother elephant, or the baby elephant female would know it's female, want to have children, all that sort of stuff, and care for them. She said, yeah, but the elephant's like not that clever, whereas humans are very clever. I'm like, yeah, but they can be programmed, and they can be taken along a way of thinking that says, oh yeah, binary is good, and you know, gender, and having children ourselves is bad, and humans are shit, and we should all be exterminated anyway, and Greta Thunberg's right, and all that sort of stuff. So you know, you can easily be brainwashed into believing racism or anything. So why not anything else? The natural animal that's not in a cage, not in a zoo, not in a preserve. A natural wild animal is the one that's doing it exactly as nature intended, and we are as far away from that as possible to imagine.
It's not glorious, just unaffected by this place. That little hedgehog.
Yeah. Well, unless you build next to it, you know.
He doesn't know anything of this
You've
place.
seen Over the Hedge. You know, when once you build next to it, obviously it changes its environment and it'll respond to that. But but you know, you see foxes, how they start to learn to live out of bins and stuff like that, because bins have come into
Double
the
plus
environment.
good, they're getting by, surviving, as long as they leave them chickens alone. They're a bit nasty on them, but I watched some crows murder a magpie the other day, 4 of them. So it was a bit upsetting to watch because it was screaming in pain. So I opened the window and like, leave it alone. sort of try to interfere. But then I thought, like, oh no, it's too late for it. I should have butted out. They're going to really prolong its pain.
Yeah.
They finished it off, pecked it to death, the cruel bastards. Then they dragged it away. I think they ate it. So it was like strange birdly behaviours. Strange bird murmurations. Over here 2 days ago, up in the sky above you, was millions.
Yeah, the seagulls eating the bugs.
That wasn't murmurations of seagulls, that was the freaking bugs.
And seagulls
And
as well.
seagulls. Okay, murmurations of flying ants.
Okay.
Flying twisters and tortoises. And there were seagulls just picking them up.
Trillions.
I've never seen that before. Clouds and clouds of ants in the sky.
Plagues.
Plagues.
You know, we
You're going to have
could
good old
be.
Bible prophecies. You want it all to happen properly. I don't want any inconsistencies in the story, actually. Yeah. We've had the pestilence. There's rumours of war. We'll have one of them. With Mongol hordes.
Isn't that like
Chinese
an old
orphans. We're going to have a fucking killer time at the World Cup.
Yeah.
Oh man, you'd be brilliant. I'd be brilliant. He'd be brilliant. We'd smash it.
Oh my
We'll
gosh,
get our
but
own hippie tank.
It's like
Hey,
Dawn of
get
the,
Lisa to paint a tank for us.
Psychedelic paint my boat.
it's like Dawn of the Dead
She
though.
can
There's
paint my
so
boat.
there's so many people here who don't want their reality, their day at Disneyland interfered with. You know?
know. I noticed that like people talk to me shit like psychopathic.
These in your brain. Like the box.
You see a lot more like fanning these days. You know, like what I mean by that is that
No, talk to me.
the undercarriage of the female.
No, that's a new fashion. Is you've got to show your camel toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to show. It's like showing like men. We show in public inches. Yeah, it's like you've got to show your camel toe. Look, you can see my vagina.
We should bring cod pieces back and do it back.
I've got a big vagina.
We
I've got woman bottom.
We should bring cod pieces back.
We should bring cod pieces.
Do it back.
Yeah.
I've got a lady family.
Yeah, no, you just see a lot of that nowadays. You know, girls
No,
are
you've
far more
noticed,
comfortable
it's a fashion
wearing
thing.
things so close to their
No,
undercarriage.
they've all gone Beaver Street, mate. Haven't you heard? Yeah, they have. It's nothing to them now. All of
Yeah.
them. They're all like
Yeah.
totally promiscuous.
All
They're
that
totally
porn
weird.
and
All that
porn and
porn and
stuff.
shit.
It's normal for them.
It's all normal. That's what it's like.
Even though it's not.
Yeah, so flashing the gash is just
Nothing
wow.
to them.
When I was a kid, that was such a big deal. You would have spoken about it for weeks. But
Mate,
now,
listen.
it's all the time.
I'm not going to say
Spoken
nothing.
about it for weeks.
I'm not live.
Don't burst me.
I'm not live. You know, no, and I mean, you know, because when I was a kid, and I loved Star Trek, right? And I used to like the sort of
And
costumes
we
that they
used to
wore,
like it.
right? Those tight suits. Was it Star
Yeah.
Trek or Star
Mate,
Trek?
listen, I was a pervert early on. Really early on. Listen.
A little bit of upskirt, you know, but now
Yeah,
you
a little
don't
bit
need
of
to worry about
upskirt.
any of that because it's all here, you know.
Yeah,
So
do you know that
yeah.
funny thing? They don't all do it. So it's a
don't.
good sort of marker. First of all, it's like now you've got to say it in your mask because that's so they're out.
Yeah.
So then you see the weight ones, and the more natural ones are getting very few and far between. But I think it's a good thing. Lucky for me, I'm actually single, so I think this is a fantastic thing. They can gay up as fuck because it's more women for us.
Although a lot of them are also going, you women are going, oh man, I'm not going to bother with them either. You know what I mean? So
Well,
also-
they're all citizens. I know what's going on. I don't want to go too much into it. I know, we're just chatting. Hi.
Nice to meet you. I thought that, I'm interrupting you.
Interesting.
It's quite interesting.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Are there any questions yet?
Not yet.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
please.
just reading
feel
and
free.
absorbing it. If I need,
Thank you for the
I'll come back to you.
open-mindedness. Yeah,
No.
we'll talk.
Look, that's the point. Open-minded.
Yeah,
You have to be open.
keep it open.
Yep. That is how we progress further. Otherwise, we'll be stuck.
Absolutely. But yeah, once you start to unpick it, you realize that very little has ever been given in the media, history, and so on.
What,
Can be taken
what
face
triggered all this? What is the trigger?
For a lot of us, it was that we knew about a lot of these things that you couldn't prove dinosaurs. That common law is, like legal fiction is stealing common law, where they're using, the courts to steal your natural law. Anyway, that all the poisoning and all the foods and the connection between things and the pharmaceutical industry. Most people know it or knew there were problems with our history, with Freemasonry, fake news in the media. Pharmaceuticals and the GMO agendas, Agenda 21. People know a lot about this Operation Mockingbird, putting CIA agents into the media. Operation, the one that brought the Nazi scientists out from Germany and put them in America. The rocket program, that was Operation Paperclip. And people know about these things, but when we found out that you can't measure curvature over water and that the mainland is fake, but we might not even be on a globe, and we thought, shit, we're probably on a flat. We found that we were on a flat Earth rather than a globe. We really felt compelled to say, wow, there's not just some like governmental misdemeanors and some covering up as you think, but the entirety of your existence, your reality, has been stage managed. That's what we think. And
I'm thinking of many things happening in the continent, the country where I came from.
Where do you come from?
I am from the continent Africa originally.
Oh, I was in South Africa for last year.
Really?
Yeah. But just talking to people there about that, and this firstly they knew with the corona thing that nothing wasn't what was happening wasn't matching what was on the news. And
You sound South African, by the way.
I spent most of my life there. I've been 25 years here, but I went back to do some missionary work in a way last year. And to African people, a lot of them say, when you say, look out of the water here, I'm at the beach, look out of the water, you know this is flat. You know that the ship is just going away because it gets smaller. It's not going down or going up to England or anything like that. It's just flat to wherever, Mozambique or wherever you go. The captain will say it's a flat body of water from here to there. And I'm not going uphill or downhill. It has to be flat unless there's waves and tide. And that's what our experience of water is that it's level and not curving. And things don't work underneath. They tell us gravity when we're children to say, yes, gravity will make the water pull to the bottom of the ball and you can walk under the ball and so on. But that's not what our reality says. If you're mountain climbing, you have to make sure you've got a foothold because you cannot go underneath the rock unless you've got handholds and then you can't put your feet on it. So yeah, we're
Is that
pretty
your
sure.
first day and the last day, or you will be here tomorrow as well?
The last day. First day, last day. I'll give you a flyer you can
Please.
take home with you.
I will take. I want to
There's a
read.
website there and you can check
There is a
out.
website.
Yeah, I don't have much info on there yet, but there's links to my YouTube account.
That's fine. That's good. I will take a few pictures if you don't mind.
Of course I
Yeah,
don't. All the best,
I'm
my
expecting
friend.
actually one of your countrymen to come and visit me next month.
Oh, good.
So there's some connection.
Good.
Bless you.
Bless you, bro. Hey, man. Have you seen some of these conspiracies before?
Yeah, I'm into all this.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. One big conspiracy, the whole lot, isn't it?
Yeah. We think it's almost like a stage show, Truman Show. It's almost like we're in Disneyland and someone is changing the props and the whole lighting and controlling the whole thing.
Yeah, just with the weather, you know?
Yeah.
Messing with the weather, you know? I know that one.
Water, weather, food,
Yeah, they
media.
say no, growing your own food is bad for you.
Some places they won't let you collect your own rainwater in the world.
Yeah.
They made that illegal. In some places they
Well,
made ginger root
If
illegal.
you keep collecting rainwater, it's meant to be for like rivers, right? So it's one of those things where
One man is not going to collect enough to upset the nature of things here. This place was made for this amount of people, and it has so much water. Actually, the water is one of the most abundant thing we have actually. And it's almost like we're like ants inside the Eden Project, saying, "Oh, you're using too much water, mate. Do you really think the Eden Project notices if one ant uses a fraction more water than another?"
is the moon round?
Yeah, it looks round to me. Like
Are all the planets round?
the planets look like round discs of light, and
So they're all discs.
they're all, well, what I can observe through a telescope or a powerful camera is like an orb that's just flickering. Well, okay, orb's probably not the right word because I can't say for sure it's a 3D object. It might
Do you
only be
think
2D.
the moon is flat?
I think the moon is like for me, it's like a projection. So if the moon rolls like a coin, have you noticed that?
Yeah. all
Not
the
many
planets
people have.
spin.
No. What you can observe is that over the course of 6 hours of the night, you can watch the moon actually turn like this. If it's a crescent moon, you'll see it do that, right?
Yeah, that happens to all the planets.
So let me finish. So that's happening in a clockwise fashion. You may have noticed that. I was in South Africa for a year last year. It blew my mind. It's anti-clockwise. And not only that, because if the moon is like this for me, it's like this in England at the same time. It's inverted, and that doesn't make sense on any flat Earth or globe Earth model that I've come across. I'll be honest with you. And it's only been 4 years since I started observing the moon. It does this every day, and in England you see this much of it, and in other parts of the world you see that much of it, depending if you're in Australia or in America. So we're all seeing a part of the 24-hour cycle that it takes to turn itself around once a day. Is my assumption with that. But you see that very, very clearly. The moon has got a lot of other question marks. Like the scientists not into flat Earth, they say that you can test the moonlight to be cold and the shade of the moon to be warmer than the direct light. Complete contrast to the sun, which you understand the shade is cooler. so that they can take a magnifying glass and magnify that effect of cooling water in the moonlight. So the moon is not what we're told. We think it's a feminine energy, and the sun is a masculine energy. One is +7, one is -7. It's all electromagnetic, actually.
No one says it's masculine or feminine.
I'm offering you some things you may not have heard before, just so you can have heard them, and whatever you do with them is up to you.
I'm mostly interested in the flat Earth thing and how you think that.
Well, you see, for me, flat Earth is like a gateway into, okay, if it's not the globe that I believed in, and I used to believe in, if it's not, it may be a globe, but let me get to the electromagnetic part of that, because you've seen a plasma ball, that's a globe, but the center of it is not necessarily that. So let me offer you this: the flat Earth is like a gateway to say I have to review everything I ever learned. So my assumptions of what Mars is and how aliens and galaxies and all these things that might be out there, I have to review them again. I say to people, like, if you were playing chess on a ball, now you get to play it on a flat pitch, like football, that you have to review everything again, and this is part of that review. And a part of that review for me personally, when I took DMT in 2015, was I had to leave this material thing behind. This idea that we are simply a material being.
Is this like for a YouTube channel, like a social experiment thing?
No,
like you're going to see how many people believe it?
Not at all.
Right.
I'm 54 years old. I'm a military veteran. I wrote a book about my time in the Angolan War in 1987.
Right.
Prince Harry took a copy of my book from me. I was considered to be quite a serious guy, and then in 2015, the ayahuasca. No, I found out that 9/11 wasn't what I was told. I believed 9/11 up until that time, 2014. I was still.
Got two friends in the parachute regiment, and they told me basically exactly what happened there. You know, where they trained up to fly those planes into the towers, things, everything. You know? Right. So that was an eye opener as well. Listening to that, you know. Yeah. Crazy.
So again, you know, that started to chip away at my paradigm, and then a guy came to me on a book tour. He said, I was in the intelligence, and you need to know that the Americans and the Russians were coordinating the battles you were in Angola. And this started to, my world started to kind of come apart when I was, okay, I need to look at this stuff again. You know? So that was honestly where I raised all the children who've completed university on the heliocentric model. So I know the model, and then when I discovered that the Earth might not be flat, which for me was a joke as a teenager because I had a lot of Bible study, and I used to joke with the preacher and say, it's flat according to the Bible, you guys are so out of touch. It's actually a globe, etc., 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 right? So that was my childhood sort of idea. I went back to that and got, oh my, maybe it is about religion, maybe it's about the Bible and so on. But I've gone past that and realized, no, I had the DMT. I saw that we're actually electric beings. We're not meat. This meat avatar that you see is simply like a rendering that we
nerves,
but that actually at the base of everything is just vibration, sound, and light. And this is not okay. It's not Newtonian, but it kind of fits with quantum stuff. It's not a long way from quantum stuff, and it also brings the ether back into focus, which is what Tesla said. We live in an ether, a soup, and so you can go and see doing the prime field. I'm trying to
not
offer
just like
people
question everything, because that doesn't mean anything. That's just like I don't believe in anything. It's all whatever.
Okay.
What is your like? What's your like? What's the thing you're trying to say?
The thing is to say that the
If you're not saying
spindle.
the Earth is flat.
What I'm trying to say to you is that the spindle of the clock, your wall clock. Think about your wall clock. Yeah, you've got the hands of the wall clock, but there's a spindle that holds those hands on the clock. You understand that, yeah? What if you are the spindle?
What does that mean?
That you are the center of the universe, and that what you're inhabiting now is your unique universe. We're currently visiting universes at the moment, and that you are meant to be the hub of the wheel. You are meant to be the Christ. The Christ
Are you religious?
No, but the story of Christ is good because he talks about the 12 disciples, right? And the 12 disciples are like the 12 disciplines of you being the hub of the wheel. There are spokes, 12 of them, and each of them aligned to your character, how you are in the world, these sorts of things. It's about self-mastery, not having someone else tell you what to think in a religion or in a science or in and it's a usurpation of who you are. When I say
with the idea that you're comparing science to religion.
They are okay. There's
I think when people say things like science is just like religion, they just tell you what to believe. Well, no. Like a lot of the stuff you have on these posters, I've noticed is just like it's like meaningless or wrong. Like it's all just like question everything. Like it's just strange.
You don't have to question everything. Start with the basics.
Like that, right? That's wrong. That's just straight up lying. This is what actually happens. That's not true. I know I've been to like wide areas. You can see the curve.
Okay.
Like that's wrong.
Okay, what if I was to offer you that what you see is an optical illusion based on two
Well,
things?
then anything
One,
is. I can say anything
I know.
if everything I see is an optical illusion, then nothing is real. I may as well just say like
that's why
that pigeon up there is like
Great.
actually the center of my universe, and I'm just one of its brain electric farts flying around in the
that's why
world.
we have scientific method,
Yeah.
which is to say I see
is not
something.
this. This is
I
just
see
nuts.
something, so I need to go and test it.
That I don't like.
Measure
That I
it.
agree with, but that's a capitalist problem.
I have to measure something. So if you say you see curvature, measure it for me. If you can measure it, then I'll talk to you. But otherwise, I'm saying the water is level, but in the distance, things do bend down.
Yeah.
That's an
live on a
aspect
globe.
of that's to do with perspective and
we live on a
angular
globe.
resolution. And we're looking through water. You know, the atmosphere is thin water,
Yeah.
and so the water will have a bending effect on the light. So when you're in an altitude situation, like on a plane, and you're looking for 100 miles in this distance, guess what? It's 100 miles there, 100 miles there, 100. So you're actually you're drawing
it's
an arc with your eye.
Okay.
So if a ship is going down, right? See, I
Yeah.
can see an expanse across the ocean for maybe 50 miles.
Right.
But according to the globe idea is that after 5 miles, it's gone away from me and over the curve. But across 50 miles, I can't see any evidence of curve. And if it was curving and going
You
down,
can't see the curve because you can't see it because
because it's not there.
you can't see it.
Yeah, but if a ship
behind.
was sailing from
Blocked.
England to France
Yeah.
and it was 30 miles,
Yeah.
he'd essentially, according to the model, have to be
It
going
depends on
down.
how high up you are as well. Like,
Sorry, bro.
it's just all this extra stuff. Like, it's all very like JQE. Like, do you think that like it's the Jews
Yes, it's
when you
that.
see this like?
Do I think it's the Jews? I think the Jews
Great
are a
Reset
tool
stuff?
of the system. I think
What
the
system?
Jews are also used by the system.
What do you
Have
think the
been-
Great Reset is?
We think it's an energetic reset. We think the ether
What
is
does
going
that
to upgrade.
mean?
We think that people are going to get sick because their bodies are not clean.
People are getting sick because of pollution, because there's shit in the air and in the water. That's got nothing to. That's capitalism. That's deregulation.
Yeah, that's one of the factors.
It's
But
not.
that's part
It's
of
not
how you get them
planned.
dirty.
People don't want their customers dying. They want them to be alive as long as possible. You know?
After a stage, I mean,
No,
you
no.
want, you want
Why?
the cash cow, don't you?
What is the motivation for this shadowy group of people to kill everyone? Basically.
Have you seen how full the cities are?
Well, this
And they
place
don't
isn't that
build.
full.
And they, well, I've been in at least 40, 50 cities in the last 2 years, and they are
Yeah.
chocker. And in my lifetime,
That's
I've only
because we
seen
haven't
cities
built more.
become- Why not?
Because it's more profitable to not build more and charge more for the rent. It's a capitalist problem.
Okay.
Again.
So there again, but I think that
Again, it's the problem is capitalism, not this insane
beg to differ.
energetic reset. You should be a socialist if you care about these problems. That graph over there and that one above it, the pharmaceutical one. I think the pharmaceutical industry should be nationalized. I think the government should own it. Do you?
no.
Why not? That would solve the problem.
I think that we should go back to natural medicine and we should get the
What
government
natural
out of
medicine?
chemicals.
So you don't believe in real medicine. You believe
What's
in
real
people
medicine?
eating leaves when they get sick and then die.
Well,
That is real medicine. Those pills are made of real
When did
chemicals.
we start making those?
Well, if you
100
took
years
2
ago?
leaves
100 years ago?
that were herbal and you mashed them in a bowl, like 10,000 years ago, that's no longer like natural. You've created a new thing out of existing
Are
things.
you aware? And
That's
I'm
the same as
personally-
that.
I'm personally aware of people who've cured their cancer.
I think they're
using-
lying to you.
Using cannabis.
I don't believe that.
That's
Also,
really
cancer
ignorant.
can just go away on its own. That is possible. But smoking weed, it doesn't make your cancer go away.
It's not, you so ignorant. It's not, you don't, you
Or
can't
the oil
smoke
or
it away.
whatever.
You have to use Lorenzo's oil. Have
Okay.
you not done any research? You should research and realize that natural medicine
Where
is
am I
how
getting the
humankind-
research from? Why is it
Well,
more
there's a thing
trustworthy
called
than
the
the
internet, but if you go past the first few pages that Google will try and
Yeah,
dissuade
so
you
then
from looking.
no, not because
You've
Google
gotta
tried to
dig
persuade me.
Start digging deeper.
You
Yeah,
gotta
but
think
a lot of
deeper,
the
man.
people at the bottom of the pit are just liars and grifters who want your money, and they just trick people like you into believing shit so that you
He's been
support
tricked
them.
by anything, he knows what he's on about.
No, he doesn't. Sorry, you don't.
You need to wake up a bit.
But no, but if you think about
Yeah,
how
I'm
long
sure.
humans have been around and how short a time pharmaceuticals have been around, and then you look into
Pharmaceuticals
how,
have been around for a
how
long
natural
time.
medicine, only 100 years, and if you look into
More
how
than that.
natural medicine
At least like
was
500.
how people did it once upon a time.
And a lot of people die.
And-
People die less than they used to. Not like
Wow,
modern
we're
medicine.
building more hospitals
works.
now than ever.
Because there's more people than
And more
ever.
people are on pills.
Because there's more people than ever.
More
yeah.
people on pills now.
And it's because it's profitable to get them hooked on pills. That's a capitalist problem again. That's a profit incentive problem. That's not a
And you know what's so
great
bad?
reset.
Yeah, and
That's
it's so bad. It's almost like they want to create the stress so that you come and get the pills. It's that bad.
How do you think they're creating stress that's not just capitalizing on the opportunities of people already being stressed because of the modern world?
This system likes to keep people in a state of distress because it keeps them on the back foot. If people are at ease, thinking for themselves, if they're
I'm
thinking
not
for
scared.
themselves,
I think for myself.
thinking for
I think for
themselves,
myself, and I disagree with all of this because it's just not
But you
meaningful.
obviously
It's
haven't
not
done
a
the research. If
coherent
you don't know-
ideology.
that
You
there
can't just
are
tell me do the
literally
research. Tell me
tens
what
of
I'm wrong
thousands
about.
of people putting
their...
their...
So you still it on. Dig deep. Start looking for yourself.
Yeah, but why would you trust some nutter in a basement over I don't know.
Say a professor of medicine says,
Yeah.
I've treated some patients with cannabis and I've cured their cancer.
Then he should do a trial. He should go and do further
So you
testing.
haven't started the
There was
research.
She had a boy had cancer and she went and bought syringes of cannabis oil.
Yeah.
And gave it the cannabis oil under his tongue. And
Okay.
cancer went away.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, well, it's true.
I
It was
don't.
all over the news. Going back a couple
Yeah,
years
I've got
ago.
friends that have...
Read it
What
up.
news though? The news like bio alternative medicine kind of news, or news like a
on
real
TV.
official on MTV?
Not MTV, the news on TV.
Which one? Which channel?
Channel 3, Channel 1. It was all over.
Channel
It was
1.
on this morning even. The people
You
the
want-
lady was on this morning on TV.
Well, if you
Why
can
is
find
it?
on the
If it's on
mainstream
TV, then it's not being buried. Then I don't need to dig deep. So why?
Oh, you're still making excuses.
Well,
I
no,
got
no,
more
you
time
just
for
told me
my
it's
friend.
on mainstream TV.
Important here. You know what I think is more important here? It's
Flat Earth thing, is it?
Yeah, quite.
So you believe in the Earth is flat, right?
You believe it's a globe?
Totally, yeah.
Why?
Time zones
Time
and
zones?
seasons
They can explain why
and
it's
day and night. Well,
Easily
no,
on
they
flat
can't be. How?
Have you researched that?
I don't need to, man.
You don't need to research it?
Everything that's alive is round. Everything. Sperm, eggs,
Yes.
your testicles.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Oranges, grapes.
Exactly,
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
Seeds around this. It's like, it
Absolutely.
makes sense that it's spinning
Yeah.
round.
Can you name me any one thing that has no skin?
Like what? Like an animal, something that's alive that has no skin. I don't know.
A fruit?
Jellyfish,
Has a skin.
the membrane.
Has
It's
a
not
skin.
quite a skin.
membrane. Even an orange. Inside the orange, there are tiny cells. Each of them has a skin.
I'm
What
listening.
the globe assumes is that this is the only example in all of nature where something didn't need a barrier to protect the wet fruit inside. That's the thing. An orange would never grow its fruit on the outside of the peel. So I say we might live inside of a sphere, inside of an orange. But when you slide that orange through the equator and you open it up and you see those little seed pods in the star in the middle there, multiply this, magnify this up 1 trillion billion times, that's your continent. And the moisture that is most dense we call our ocean level, and any of the seeds that stick above that we call continents.
Okay.
And then you've got
So,
gas layers as you go up, but it all has to be contained within
If we live on a flat disk, what are you saying about time zones? How do you explain that?
well, time zones would be explained by a number of ways. One, if we made the flat disk, let's just say we made it into a football stadium, and we had, and at one goal side we started the light, and it took 24 hours for that light to move across the pitch, but the light only illuminated 12 hours worth of space of the pitch. Now, I did that once a day. I've got you a day and night. Now I can move that to one part of the right side of the goal mouth. Now it's in Cancer. The back side of the other side of the goal mouth. Now it's in Capricorn. And so I can move it from the perspective of the stadium on the supporter side or the away side or whatever. Then the light's either going to be further or closer, and that can give you your seasonal variation. But it's all actually electromagnetic where I'm at, and it's all sine waves, and things do move in these cyclical waves. It gets deeper. Flat Earth is just a doorway. The idea in your mind of it being a disk in space is not something that any flat earther subscribes to, because we don't know what's outside of the dome that I've just described. If it's water or space or whatever, we don't know. But we contend that humankind has never had the technology or the ability to leave and find out. That's as far as we go. And what's beneath our feet? We claim nothing other than the 8-mile Kola Deep mine, which is the deepest we've ever dug any hole in the earth in Russia. And they stopped in 1997 after 2 years of gaining no more ground in the mine. So we can get 8 miles down, and then it's a bedrock that we can't get through. So our claims of there's 4,000 miles beneath our feet and molten rock and all that stuff, we can't substantiate that. So I'm not willing to accept that now anymore. I'm saying, water is now going to curve around this ball because I can drop a ball on the floor and call it gravity. The water is now going to cling to the underside of the ball, and we're walking underneath like ants can stick to a ball. Well, we can't do that. And we would know, our internal senses, if I flung you upside down like this, your internal senses would know you were upside down straight away.
I work in a shop. I'm not a scientist, so
You are a scientist.
So
if I took you on a plane,
ultimately,
and the plane suddenly lost altitude, would you be able to tell me that? You're a scientist because you know. If you put your hand in boiling
I'm not
water,
a scientist. I'm saying
if I say this is boiling water, you'd say no thanks, I won't put my hand in it, because you know scientifically that it's too hot for your hand to handle. That's basic science. What they've given us is a science that has to be all maths and all theory and all shit that you and I don't have the time or the brain to fucking spend our time on. So we go, no, we don't really fully understand.
I've actually had enough,
Is it time
and
to
I'd
go?
actually like to go.
Okay. Look,
sick.
you're annoying my wife. Damn.
Oh, was that the missus?
Yeah, that's my wife.
She
She doesn't handle the stooges as well. But okay, but no. So when it comes to demonstrating that water is running uphill, up the side of a mountain, no, can't do that. We can't. We know that water will run downhill every time. It'll run downhill. It'll find a pool, and then when that pool's full, it'll go to the next pool. And when you've got say, put 5 jugs like this beneath each other on stairs, you'll realize that those waters are each of them horizontal to each other. Each body of water is horizontal. So it's the same if I magnify to a mountain. Each lake as you come down is horizontal to the next lake as you come down. They're all horizontal. It spills over, the waterfall gets to a pool, horizontal. Next pool, horizontal.
Yeah.
There is never a time when it's curving and it gets to a next body of water called the ocean, and that's still horizontal, while variation, a little wind over the top makes your tides and your waves. So, the idea that we're sailing down to Africa, this way to America, or all this sort of shit, it's like, topographical maps are another good evidence I use, because we start a topical map here on the west at 0, walk up to 300, 400 meters high. Eventually we end up at the west coast, but we've sunk down another 300 or 400 meters, and we're at the same 0 again.
Okay.
So if I magnified it up, not more than Great Britain, it would say America. It would be the same thing, east coast to west. I would go up to 2,000 meters at the highest, up and down mountains, over some plains, and eventually come back down 2,000 meters and back to sea level.
What got you on this, a personal question to you, what got you on this train of thought? What made you think, hang on, did you see something and then you thought this makes sense?
Well, as I was saying earlier on, I've just found 9/11. And then I heard of this thing and I was like, nah, that's funny, But then I saw another video that was talking about the curvature of water. I was like, hang on, man. I lived near water a lot as a kid, I saw things over distance over water that should have apparently gone over the horizon according to the maps that we're given. So I don't support that idea, and so I started looking at it further. I did have DMT in 2015. That was a big kicker for me, because I was an atheist at that point.
Did you smoke it?
Yes.
Yeah.
6 minutes, and my first words. Yeah.
You've done it all of it, mate. No, man.
6 minutes.
I've never spoken openly in town about this before.
6 minutes later, my first words were, "It's true, there is a God," and I was atheist before that at 47. So there you go. But I've got to go.
Okay.
I'll give you a flyer.
Yeah, give me a flyer, man.
Good luck, man. All the best to you. I'll give you a flyer.
Yeah, dude.
The electromagnetic universe.
Magnetic universe.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. Yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
Bro, good luck, bro.
Cheers, bro.